Yes, please.
Okay, Chairman David Leanda. Chairman, you're on the line still?
Yes, I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vice Chair Forrest Reynolds.
I'm here.
Secretary Treasurer Ezequiel Reina. Okay. Director Alonso Cantu. Director Paul Boxley. Director Frank Pardo.
I'm here.
And Director Joaquin Spammer.
I'm here.
Chairman, you have a quorum.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good morning. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Invocation.
God, we come before you today to give you honor and praise. You are the source of all good and the source of all our blessings. Thank you for helping us accomplish our work today and our goals. Thank you.
Amen.
Okay. Thank you for that. Do we have a public comment?
No, sir. We do not.
Okay, thank you a lot. Let's go to resolution 2021-54. Consideration and approval of change order number 1 for the construction contract with Pharr Construction for the 365 toll wall project and 281 Military Highway to FM 396.
Yes, sir. Chairman, directors, as you recall, we had a special meeting last month where the board of directors awarded the construction contract for the 365 tollway to Pullis in the amount of $295,932,420.25. And it was subject to issuance of an NTP through reduction in scope through value engineering, which was part of the contract provisions, and concurrence from the Texas Department of Transportation. We have received concurrence from the Texas Department of Transportation. Actually, we received that day before yesterday. So we're clear to proceed with construction as far as TxDOT's concerned. The issue we have right now is obviously we're over budget. We need to be able to finance on the order of $280 million and not the $295 that we've awarded. So we've asked the contractor to consider actually the contractor approached us to consider a value engineering change proposal. And so what this change order would do would allow that process to start. And so what staff is proposing, and in your packet, the contractor has proposed quite a few items that right now are valued at approximately $45 million in reductions. And so in order for us to shore up that number and ensure that it's achievable, the contractor has to do some work. Change order 1 would authorize them to do that work. It would authorize the contractor to be paid 5% of the estimated savings to do the engineering and any of the calculations and iterations that are necessary to ensure that the project, that those cost savings are realized, and then any engineering consideration to make sure that we're still in conformance with Texas Department of Transportation specifications, the authority requirements, etc. And so in order to do that, he would have to do approximately 30% of the 5% of work to determine whether that number is achievable. So staff is requesting authorization to approve change order number 1, which would authorize a 5% design fee and up to 30% of that 5% design at this point. If we get when we get to the 30% design and the contractor realizes that we have savings or that we do not have savings, in the case that we do not have savings, then we would stop right there. pay them the 30% of the 5%, and then we would consider terminating the contract or parting ways with the contract. And so in order to get that process started, staff is requesting authorization for approval of change order number 1. In your packet, you change order number 1 is in your packet. It's right after the executive memo. There's 2 dates that have changed under schedule of value engineering change proposal or schedule of BECP, which is about mid-page on the first page of the change order. And that one is that the 30% design will be shows that November 24th it'll be submitted to the authority, which is the design deadline, and that we're revising it to December 1st. So it just changes by about a week. And then the second date is down at the bottom of that same paragraph, which says the financing deadline requires closing on toll revenue bonds supporting the project, which requires that the contract be executed with a change order by December, shows December 6th. That date has been revised to December 8th, 2 days later. So those are the only changes, and this is, we've consulted with the contractor and we've had to make some minor modifications to the date, but you can see in one case it's only a week and on the other case it's only a couple of days. And so based on review by staff, we're recommending approval of change order number 1 so we can proceed.
So what's the anticipated savings on this going to be, Pilar?
So right now, Chairman, we have a rough order of magnitude of approximately $45 million total savings. What that would probably yield would be on the order of $15 to $17 million for, if it all pans out, $15 to $17 million for the authority, and approximately $20 million for the contractor. That's our high level estimate at this time. This change order would allow us to dive in and get down into the details and see if that number is achievable.
And based on y'all's review of the project, you feel like that number is achievable?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we think that number, and we've been meeting with the contractor on a weekly basis, sometimes more. And the contractor and the staff is optimistic that those are achievable. We've got some traps to run on that to make sure, we've got to do our due diligence. And of course, change order 1 allows us to do the due diligence to make sure that number can be realized.
Do we have anything to lose?
No, sir. Just if we get to 30% design and the number's not realized, I mean, we pay the contractor for his effort and we're done. And I believe that would be at about $500,000 is what it would cost us at that point. Yeah, and then we would retain any of the work that they produce. That would be our work product that the contractor would turn over to us.
Pilar, it's not in here, but what was the original number that we came up with when you all did the forecast?
We were at $260 million.
So this, after the 295 less the 30, it would come down to approximately 265 then, huh?
Correct. Plus or minus. Yes,
right.
That's the rough order of magnitude. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Pilar, this is Forrest. Has Richard Ramirez been a part of your conversations?
Yes, sir.
He's in tune with where you are, I gather. What are his thoughts? He's not on the call, is he? Yes,
he's on the call. But, yes, we've kept him up to date on our progress with the contractor. And so what our financial advisor is waiting for is for a firm number so that he can plug it into the model. And Richard's on the line in case he wants to chime in.
Yeah, can we get an update from Richard on a timeline, possibly?
Yeah, the directors, this is Richard. At this point, Director Reynolds, we're waiting on, certainly the final number, and then we have to update the operations and maintenance numbers as well, and have to review to see whether any of the traffic and revenue, numbers have changed. I don't believe so at this point, but I'm not 100% sure. In either case, after the December 8th meeting, if that contract is approved, that'll be a final number that we can go to the rating agencies, certainly before Christmas, and be able to finance the project, late January.
What is the market talking about?
Given the savings that Pilat is working on, Richard, and that you're a part of, that can get us to where we need to be to finance a project.
I believe so. Subject to, the market rates not increasing, a whole lot. I think we have rates since we did our last update are about the same. So that's favorable. So we get the reduction in the contract price. Our opinion is that the deal works.
David, did you have a comment, David? Excuse me.
Yeah, I wanted to see if Richard thinks or believes that we can get this thing financed now with the current market rates, and I think he answered the question.
That's
Richard,
correct.
how long before we can lock in?
It would be at the time of sale, whenever we sell the bonds.
Well, how soon would that be, best case?
Probably second, third week. We're hoping about the third week of January. The problem is the holidays in between and getting the rating agencies to provide a rating. We hope to meet with them certainly before the holidays, but get a rating in early January. Then we need a couple of weeks for marketing.
Richard, is there anything we can do in the meantime to expedite the process?
I say until we get a rating, until we have a firm contract price, it's really difficult to do that. I think what we're doing is trying to make sure we're ready from a document standpoint, but I think we're a little bit held hostage by the 8th and then turning around and having rating meetings.
So what's going on right now in the private world as far as ratings, and what rates are you seeing on any particular project that you're out there seeing in the marketplace?
Not sure I can answer that. I mean, we're seeing our market rates today where deals are getting done. MMD, which is the index that we use for municipal bonds, went down last week about 10, 11 basis points, and then some yesterday. But prior to that, they had gone up. So we're kind of, as I mentioned, we're back to kind of 0.0 where we basically did our last run. So what we're seeing today is, this would be probably something in the 3% range.
Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah, it would be high threes, but also you'd have a difference between the senior bonds and the subordinate bonds. The subordinate bonds that are capital appreciation bonds would price it a little higher, but the blended rate I think would be somewhere in the high threes.
I have a question.
Yes.
That a good? That's a long from 3 to 3 high threes is a lot of money.
No, three fixed, right? 3%.
No, he said high threes.
Well, it's yeah. I'd have to look at our run and see where we basically have. I don't have it in front of me. I can give you an answer in about 5 minutes as to what we have in terms of the true interest costs on the bonds.
I need to really look at that, David.
Yeah, I will. I need to look at it. That's why I'm asking the question.
It will be a market, rate, whatever the market is, but I need to find the number and tell you what we have right now.
I
We
have
need to
a
make sure
question.
it's right when you get it. Or it's the best one we can get.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is,
Go ahead.
is the new trillion dollar bill going to affect, or is it positively affecting positively the market for municipal bonds? I mean, I don't know.
Right now, it has been a little neutral. We saw it's not so much the bill, it's been really the inflation and the supply chain, mostly the economy. If it's going up, we're just hoping are raising rates sooner than they planned.
Okay, I have another question. Is there any of those trillion million dollars coming our way?
I do not know the answer. Preliminary, there is amounts that are designated for roads. That's in the billions, but how that gets parceled out among the states and then to the locals is not known, at least on my part. I don't know that at this point.
David.
Yes, sir.
Is the federal or the state government is it gonna flow through the state, or do you know?
I think it's going to go, the feds are going to give it to the states, and then the states are going to issue it, I believe.
Then we need to talk to people in Austin before it's all spent on engineering fees and having to redo stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, sir. I'll make a call tomorrow. I'll be loud and I'll get on a call.
Richard, how big this is for? How big is the toll revenue bond again? Can you remind the board?
It's
Projected to be.
projected to be 180 million or so. I'm looking that up right now.
No. The toll revenue bond only.
Yeah, that's about right.
I have another comment. I mean, if there is all this money coming for infrastructure, it's going to raise prices. Have you, Pilar, thought about the price increase due to the fact that there is going to be a lot more money for construction projects?
Director, no, we have not factored that in. I mean, that announcement was made in maybe the last 48 hours or so. And so, no, we have not factored that in. We have a bid right now that we've awarded, and if we get through this value engineering change proposal, we're going to lock that price in. And so we shouldn't see any escalations in prices.
That contract is a guarantee. It's a closed-in contract. It's a fixed contract, correct?
It's a unit price contract. So yes, so they've got to guarantee their unit prices.
That's right. So that's why it's really not on us. It's on really the contractor.
So Director, we probably won't see, that announcement for that additional funding for infrastructure. It'll probably be months, if not years, before we see the funding schedules and the disbursement schedules and where all that ends up. And of course, TxDOT is going to be a major player in whatever is allocated to Texas. And so, but it'll be some time before we see where those funds end up.
Very good.
So just to close the loop on the rates, right now between the first year up to 51, the rates range from yields of 177 to 350, 320. So it puts at a blended rate just, I think, a little about 3% because a lot of the bonds are in the back end. So,
Pilar, what do you think as far as, can we check with TxDOT on Friday, see if anything money's coming our way so we can answer the question?
Yeah, yes, sir, we sure can. I will give the district engineer, or the staff a call and just see if they have any idea of what the schedule looks like for funding.
Okay. And you send an email to all the directors and let them know as well, please.
Yes, sir, will do. But again, Chairman, staff is recommending approval of change order number 1 as presented.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve it.
Change order number 1. Have a motion.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, Chairman.
All right, is there any other business, Pilar?
No, sir, Chairman, we have no other business for the board's consideration.
Okay, if there's no other business, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion.
Have a motion by Pharr, second by Alonso. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, guys, thank you all very much for taking time this afternoon to be on the call. Appreciate it.
See you next week, guys.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Good night. Yes, sir. Good night.